ready? When those people come around and you've been praying and you start to see them and you start to have these conversations about faith, here's something you're going to realize. Those people have always been there. But have you been there? Here and here. They've always been there. You're thinking about some of them right now. Those people in your life that you know need to hear, people in your life that you're like, man, I know these people need to know Jesus. I know this person needs to know Jesus. I know they're far away, but they're just so far away. I just don't think there's ever any way. Hey, pray. Pray and trust and believe that God can do the work. And this is where, and I kind of broke this point, we target the lost. I broke this down into 3 sort of subcategories of what's happening here. God does the work. The gospel does the work as it goes out in ways that we can't fully understand. We just get to be included in it. And part of how we're included in it is what I just explained to you through prayer. We are included through the work of prayer. Pray for people. Pray for those that you know that are far from God. And again, pray that they might cross your path and that you would be prepared. But then, here's what you got to understand. The work is not of you. Remember, we used the hero language earlier. The work is of God. The Bible talks about this all the time of the mystery of the gospel. Like that the gospel in and of itself and the work that it does in the heart and in the mind is known as a mysterion. It's a mystery. Like it's a work that is difficult to explain because it's not of us. It's of God. It goes out and it does its own work on the heart of lost people. You know this to be true because it did its work in you. So many of you. But we are responsible to do our part heroically to carry that to others who need it. And then to trust. But recognize that that is a work that has been entrusted to you. The work for that person that is far from God, that needs to know and be exposed to the mysterion, has been given to you. It's your responsibility. How do I know this? Well, I love this. I'm, again, about to blow your mind. 1 Timothy chapter 2, Paul says to Timothy, I urge you, first of all, pray for everyone. And why are we doing this? Because God desires everyone to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. Pray for everyone because God desires everyone to be saved. So in the mysterion of the gospel, he has a divine plan. We are, and this is the second part of this, we are included through divine appointments. Remember, I told you earlier, we need to be praying for those. Lord, bring people into my path. I've seen this in my own life, and so have you. Where I've prayed for opportunity and God has set up divine appointments that are beyond me. This is where he talks about this responsibility that's entrusted to each of us. Our own particular responsibility that's given to us for this person that's far from God, and I've got to step up and decide, am I going to do something about it? Here's where this comes. In 1 Corinthians 3 verse 5, Paul's in this situation where he is trying to explain to the early church that is arguing and bickering about how much better their faith, like my faith is than your faith, or your faith is than my faith. And the way they're making this argument, y'all, is they're saying, well, yeah, but, I was baptized by Paul. I was baptized by Apollos, right? I'm on a whole other level. Paul is like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all have lost your mind. He doesn't say that, but that's basically what he's saying. Here's why this matters, and it's so cool. Because what he says is, what then is Apollos? What is Paul, right? They are servants. And here comes the words that I told you earlier were going to blow your mind. He says, through whom you came to believe, and the 6 words. You with me? You ready for 6 words? As the Lord assigned to each. As the Lord assigned to each. Who's Paul? Who's Apollos? That part doesn't matter. What matters is that Paul and Apollos did what they were called to do, to share the gospel to the people that were assigned to them. Like the people that God meant for them to reach, and they were willing to do it and share the gospel, they had a responsibility in that. And so it is for you and me that God puts people in our path, and if we will notice them, we'll be there to do that work He's called us to do. God has, and He talks about this in other locations in Acts, He's placed us where He wants us to be to do His work and His will. He's got a place and a purpose for us. Even if you're having trouble seeing it right now, He has this. Acts chapter 17, 26 and 27 says, "From one man He made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth. And He marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands,